She's trying to call in.
Okay. I'm going to call to order the meeting. We have a quorum from what I can see. So we'll call to order the meeting of the Merrillville Town Council via Zoom tonight, November 24th, 2020 at 6:35 p.m. Kelly, if you can hear me, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Councilman Spann?
Present.
Councilman Hardaway?
You're muted, Richard.
He's muted.
He's here.
Okay. Councilman Minchuk?
Here.
Councilwoman Yuzlak?
She's trying to get on.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Richard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Yuzlak, are you on yet?
She's
I'll come
not.
back to her. Councilman Pettit?
Here.
Councilman White? Councilman White?
Here.
You on the line?
He said he's here.
And Councilman Bella?
Here.
Okay. Councilman Bella?
Yes.
Did Councilwoman Yuzlak make, okay. Did Councilwoman Yuzlak make it on yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we have 6 present right now.
That's plenty.
Cool.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Petitions, communications, acknowledgements, and demonstrations. We have Bridget Streck tonight. Bridget, we're on a Zoom call, obviously, so we're not going to have time to go through any presentations. We got your information, so why don't you just give us a quick briefing, and then we'll move on for tonight.
Sure. I'll just give you what's the events for next month. We have 2 events in Lake County, which is wrestling. It's King of the Ring. We have events coming for Heads and Beds on the 4th through the 5th, and then the events the 11th through the 13th. And then my next meeting is December 17th, and I'll have the final packet for the year.
Bridget, what's the health of the hospitality industry right now?
So my hotel itself, actually, we were up to 67% this past weekend. My average daily rate is pretty much between $80 and right now I have 45% occupied.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing pretty good. We're winning in Lake County, leads the Heads and Beds and almost the entire state.
Wow.
What's the
Yeah,
reason
we're
for
doing
that?
well. Actually, this past week, 2 weekends ago, I was actually sold out for 2 days.
Okay. Any questions for Bridget? Okay. Thank you, Bridget.
My pleasure.
We'll have you back when we're in person again, okay?
That works. Do you want me to
Thank you.
stay on for the whole meeting?
That's your choice. You don't have to.
I will then. Okay.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So moving on tonight on the consent agenda, we have the accounts payable voucher for approval for November 24th and the approval of the town council meeting minutes of November 10th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway for approval of the consent agenda.
Let's put you on speaker.
Okay, that would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hold on, please.
Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right.
Kelly, call the roll real quick, okay? Let's be clear on these votes. Madam Clerk Treasurer?
There's a bunch of mutes on, Rick.
Okay. Kelly,
hear
need
me?
to unmute. Yeah, now we can.
Rick, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's my Wi-Fi.
Since we're on Zoom, just do the quick roll call, just real quick. Just say last names.
Sure. Spann?
Aye.
He said aye.
Minchuk?
Did she call Hardaway?
No,
Yes.
I think she said her Wi-Fi is bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Hardaway.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Now, yes.
Okay. Minchuk?
Yes.
Uselak,
Just got tuned in.
The vote is for the
Councilman,
minutes
Councilwoman, did you
and
hear me?
payroll registered voucher.
For the minutes? On the minutes. Whenever
It's the
it's
cons- Yes, the consent agenda.
I may have forgotten why it was.
I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi.
Jerry.
I'm sorry. I can barely hear you.
Pat, ask Mark if she's voting for the consent agenda, that's all. And that may not work for the whole meeting.
Rick wanted to know if you're voting for the consent agenda. We can answer your question after. It's very difficult. It's okay. Okay, we'll get, yes, all right. All right. Mrs. Uselak's vote is yes.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay. All right. Pettit,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
and Bella.
Yes,
All in favor. 7.
all in favor. Thank you, guys. Moving on to standing and special committees, budget and finance, Mr. White.
No report.
Council Affairs, Mrs. Uselak.
No report.
Public Works, Mr. Minchuk.
I have nothing at this time. I think we have Kevin online if he wants to say anything.
Kevin, anything to add?
Well, yeah, I got a few things.
We'd love to hear it. Speak
Well-
up for us.
Those Christmas decorations we talked about,
Yes, sir.
for the most part, they got to be ordered by October, the end of October, to get them by Christmas. So there's no way to get them this year.
Sure,
But
let's
on the-
just,
But on the bright side, she said if I order them in January, we'll get a good discount on them.
okay.
They do that every January, so I mean, you can look at it that way. And she's trying to find me brackets for the broken ones that we have.
Good.
I mean, their entire warehouse where they got everything is completely shut down because everything's already been ordered and all they're doing is shipping stuff out. So she's in the process of looking for that stuff for us. If we get them, I'll get the rest of our decorations up. Leaf vac, we're still working out there. Hopefully we finish tomorrow. That's a big hope, but we're getting really close to the end of it. So that's a good thing. We almost escaped without any snowstorms, but we had a little snow this morning.
Yeah.
But it wasn't nothing major for us, except we had to call off leaf vac and we were out cleaning drains for a while. But we finished the afternoon sucking leaves up.
Okay.
That's about it.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. This is Don.
Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Public Works. That great job you've done with the leaves over here. My residents are so happy. They're always complimenting Public Works. I'd like for you to know that. That's it.
Thank you, Don. Elections, Public Relations, and Census 2020. Mr. Pettit.
I have nothing.
Environmental Affairs, Mr. White.
A couple of things, President Bella. Of course, you know, with this COVID thing going on, we have 4 people in our town hall that actually, I think, were infected by it. I think that kind of led to us, you know, changing the town hall hours and us not and being on Zoom. I would like to compliment the police department because they had purchased 2 portable units. And it allowed them to, and it was not as expensive as the CL360. So it gives some portability to them, the type of units they have. The police officers can use it when they get out their cars. They can kind of do their own thing to make sure, because they take these vehicles home. So this will give them a tool to use to make sure they're safe. Prior to that, nothing else.
Thank
to
you.
Good
add.
point.
Personnel
Thank you.
policy. Mrs. Uselak, you have a report tonight?
Rick is asking if under personnel policy you have a report.
Not really clear at this time.
Public safety, Mr. Minchuk.
Far so good. Everything's going pretty smooth unless Chief has anything to say.
Anything to add, Chief Cretino?
Yes, just want to give you an update on the North Station. It's finally back up and running again, trying to put things together. We ran into a stall there because of the virus. With the assistance of Pat, I really appreciate it. We're getting things moving again. I did a walkthrough with the building inspector, Mr. Brown, and I think he finalized designing some things the way we can have it where we can utilize it. So I'll keep you posted.
Very good. Do you have a completion date in mind?
We just trying to get it back up now, so that's kind of hard to say. I'm hoping that we can get it up and running before the year is out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I'm sorry, real quick, Mr. President, we do have an executive session scheduled on the 30th at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Jeff. Economic development, Mr. Pettit.
No report.
Parks and recreations, Mrs. Uselak.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. Pardon me, under economic development, Mrs. Uselak would like me to relate the plat review committee met last week to review and subsequently pass Project Merit's plat. That's a $30 million project that is started moving dirt in the Merrillville, and their schedule would have them completed and the building turned over to the operator in August. Thank you.
Nice. Anything under parks, Pat?
Mrs. Uselak, anything under parks?
And Linda, while we're waiting, can you please get with Mrs. Uselak sometime in the near future and talk through the Zoom calls, and let's find out what the difficulties are there and see what we can do to improve.
The park in Sean's ward? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We'll be taking, this is on parks, we'll be taking bids for Curtis Park. I believe Jan's on the line. Jan, perhaps you can elaborate a little bit more on the status of the parks for Mrs. Uselak.
You got to unmute, Jan.
All of the parks have been renovated other than Curtis Park. We'll begin that process late winter into early spring and go according to the Public Works schedule on install. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Utility liaison, Mr. Span.
No report at this time.
Okay, abandoned properties, Mr. White.
No report.
You don't want to update us on the tearing down of the EMS station?
Well, I can let Pat update you on that if you don't mind, Pat.
Fine. There's a letter in your packet from Ryan Construction Company that details the demolition schedule. And certainly if you or any other member of the council has a question, please ask us. But that project, I don't have the letter in front of me. If I recall correctly, that project should be down by the end of the month.
Great.
Pat, if I can interrupt,
Go ahead, Kevin.
I talked to Doug Golf. As far, I mean, it's supposed to come down Friday. He has called in locates to have everything located in there. We've talked to NIPSCO and the Indian American Water about the electric, gas, and getting everything, making sure everything's abandoned, pulled out and everything. So as far as I know, Friday's the go day.
Okay, thank you. That's good news.
Thank you. Nothing else to add to abandoned properties.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
The Strat building off of 73rd, the one that's empty now. What is the town? What do we deem to? We need to do something with that building.
I can comment on that if you like.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. The town does not actually own the building at this time. It's still owned by Strax. They do have it up for sale. The town has been trying to help assist in any kind of way to get some kind of a anchor store there and have had no luck so far. We just keep striking out. Nobody's interested in the property or the area. We do have one possible person right now, but it's not 100%. We'll see how things go. To be honest with you, it's not nothing I like, but it's also something better than an eyesore in the middle of town. So things are pending, but nothing promising.
Do you know if that building is salvageable?
Yes, it is.
Couldn't the town make a skating rink or something?
It's not town.
It's just a suggestion, you know.
Thank you, Don.
Good suggestion.
Sheila, can you help us out with that? I don't think Strax still owns the building. I think it has switched hands. And wasn't there talk about putting in something in there?
Yes, there's a gentleman by the name of Daniel Gentile from DG Properties who bought it from Strack and Ventiles. And he has sat down several times. Well, his attorney has sat down with us, Councilman Minchuk, myself, and Pat. They are proposing to put, Councilman Minchuk, they are proposing to put inside climate control storage in there. They were on the agenda for the Board of Zoning Appeals, but because we went virtual, his attorney requested that we wait until he would like to have a face-to-face meeting with the board in order to state his case. So it is on hold until we can have that BZA meeting face-to-face.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
Mm-hmm.
Town beautification and town identity, Mrs. Uselak.
Can you repeat that for me, Brad?
Yes, Mrs. Uselak responds, no report.
Thank you.
Would you please repeat the job?
Community and Recreation Center, Mr. Minchuk, Mr. Pettit.
I'll let Sean go ahead.
We've got a meeting tomorrow night at 4:00 up at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. Those of you that have driven by or been through on a tour, a great deal of activity is taking place. The multi-purpose field, they were cutting in a modified town field.
They continue with the meeting. I'll relay that message.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sean. I muted Pat.
They were putting Merrillville in each end zone. They've got to put the rubber and the sand mixture underneath and working on that. But of course, with this weather, the snow and the rain that we're going to get, I'm not sure what's transpiring there. As many know, the on-premise sign is up. Jan has got the application The watch fire unit is burning. Jan will be able to program messages in there. The first one I gave Jan was opening March 1st, 2021, the Dean and Barbara White Community Center as one message. And then as a second message, the town of Merrillville wishes to thank the White Family Foundation for its generous gift, or some phrasing of that, Jan. The basketball courts are still being installed. They're putting in the LVT flooring, carpeting in Jan's area. The office area is all done. Carpeting in the community room and the pre-function room is all done. The on-building lettering, so everyone knows now that this is the Dean and Barbara White Community Center, are on there. Rick has gone out and shot some photographs and shared them, and is putting together a real nice gallery of all the progress that's going on out there. So tomorrow night we're going to be diving. We have one item to talk about that Jan got a quote on from Alert Alarm, but the rest of the meeting is going to focus on additional community sponsorships, court sponsorships, field sponsorships. Jeff worked with Joe, and our Northwest Indiana Building Trades has committed to naming the inside concession stand, and we're designing that right now, working with Randy Palmatier on that. Secured a sponsorship from Don Weiss. I'm working with Centier and NIPSCO on the basketball courts. Jan's been working on some individual sponsorships, so we're going to go through all of that. I shared a spreadsheet, Mr. President, with everybody on Sunday, and I think I got it to everybody. Pat, I hope you got it to Don and Margie in a paper format, so everybody knows what's going on and who we're trying to talk to in securing any additional sponsors. Keep in mind, folks, that these community sponsors we're looking for now are going to go into a non-reverting capital fund that after 5 years, there's going to need things done to this center outside of the operating money that is coming from the Dean and Barbara White Family Foundation. So we've really got what we're looking at is two non-reverting funds, one for operating and one for capital, that we may want to do something else in the building. Jan may have a need for something else. There may be something on the patio. There may, things are going to need repairs after a while. This is not a guaranteed 20-year non-breakable building, so to speak. There's going to need to be things are going to need to be done to this building, so we need to have that ability to do that, and that's what this money that we're trying to raise will do. We want to give the community an opportunity to get their name in the building, so when all these people come through the building, they're going to see that the center court, court number 2 on the basketball, is sponsored by Centier Bank, and it's going to have their logos on it. When they go up on the mezzanine to have concession stands and have a pop, they're going to see that it's, I don't know what we're going to call it, Jeff, Union Lounge or Union Pub, and all the trades will be up. All 15 trades are going to be up on that wall, and everybody will know that the building trades supported us. So that's what we're kind of after with these sponsorships. We'll go into more detail tomorrow night at 4. Again, every single councilman is now a member of this committee. And so back to Leonard and your transparency issue, everybody needs to be there then. If you want to know what's going on, show up. I got nothing to hide. Jeff's got nothing to hide. Jan's got nothing to hide. We put it all out there. If you don't come, that's your choice. But the invitation is open at the community center at 4. We'll be in the in Jan's office area. There's a couple big tables in there, and then you can walk around and see what's going on with the physical side of the building.
That'll be fine, Sean, and I appreciate the invite, even though I thought I was on the committee as well, but that's fine as well. I've been sick for the past 4 days. I really don't want to get you guys contaminated around me. Tried to take a COVID test today. I missed the deadline by like 10 minutes. I've been feeling terrible for the past 4 days, throwing up, all kind of stuff. So, but that's my own problem. So yeah, I wish I could show up tomorrow, but I don't want to put you guys at risk, to be honest with you.
Okay.
To add one thing to the community center report, I know at the last council meeting, we went ahead and announced that we were going to have a sponsorship night on December 9th. Of course, with county going red, we're going to unable to do that sponsorship night until a later date and time. So at this point in time, we're still trying to do our sponsorship drive, but we're just going to have to do it via email, telephone, private meetings of just a couple people so we can socially distance and just go about it that way. But as soon as we can get back to what some kind of normalcy, we will have that event.
Thanks, Jeff. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all, Mr. President, unless Jeff's got anything else.
No, that's about it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to the Department and Commission reports, Lake County Solid Waste Management District, Mr. White.
Yes, Mr. President. We held a Zoom meeting November 19th at 6 p.m. Items on the agenda was the consent agenda from the claims of through 2020-48 and approval of the September 17th board minute meetings. Old business was pretty much about the finance recycling grants committee, which I'm one of the members of the grants committee. We did release the checks. I think Pat probably already got the check. Pat, you got the check. And then we also went to new business. We had a salary ordinance for the budget year 2021. The Environmental Education Center in Hammond, which is part of the Solid Waste Management District. You know, that's where they take the kids and things there for environmental activities. They had to do a renewal and a modification of the lease because that building is actually owned by the city of Hammond. So we did a modification of that lease agreement. Pretty much that was it. And then we scheduled announcements and we wrapped it up from that point. Nothing else to add.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hardaway, any report on NERC tonight?
We had a meeting last Thursday, a virtual meeting, and one of the things that came out, and probably Pat knows more about it than I do, is Kathy, I think her name is Luger, said she spoke with you about a road project at 61st and I-65. Are you aware of that?
You're on mute, Pat.
That's all I got, Rick, but I will get more information from her and I'll have it at our next meeting.
Go ahead, Pat. I unmuted you.
I'm not aware of that, but I will follow up. It's possible that she had a conversation with Steve.
But she had one. Well, she mentioned your name, so that's why I said you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I'll make a point of following up with her.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Stormwater management resources, Mr. Lake.
I have no report other than I've been working with Jeff Bann and DVG on the details with regards to getting access from Madison Street to the new community center. We have to cross a waterway via bridge and things like that. So those aspects and details are being ironed out and we'll work together accordingly. And then along 93rd, the landscaping is going in. I don't know if you've seen the decorative retaining wall. That should be done this winter. And then the plants and all the landscaping components will be installed this spring.
We're calling that a planter.
Okay.
Department directors, anything to report? Sheila?
No, nothing to report. I guess I would like to say this about the planning and building staff. I would like to thank them because they always step up whenever we have this COVID experience from all of our inspectors. They're still going out to inspect and we're still issuing permits, and I would like to thank them, inspectors and the staff.
Great. Vicki?
Nothing.
Jan?
A couple of things. As of yesterday, the job descriptions for the Dean and Barbara White Community Center went to department heads. So if anybody in any department is interested in a transfer, they can fill out an application, attach your resume, and either drop it off to Pat at Town Hall or at the Park Department. And tomorrow I have an OAC meeting with Core Construction and Watchfire. So they normally train in person, but due to the coronavirus, training has to be over the phone. The Park Department did not have a tablet or anything other than a big CPU to drag around to try to program. So we did order a tablet. It actually just came to my door about an hour ago. Ruth will be programming that in the morning. I will then contact Watchfire. I'm afraid, though, that I won't be able to enter into any training till after Thanksgiving. As soon as we accomplish that, we will put the information that Mr. Pettit sent to me on the sign as the first message to the town of Merrillville. That's all I have.
So Sean, why don't you and I talk about that tomorrow? My concern is that's a lot of days where we're not taking advantage of that beautiful sign. If we can get some kind of messaging up there, maybe the sign company can help us. That's a lot of days for just to be burning that word in there.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just putting a message up. We actually have to, I just received a thumb drive. This program has to be downloaded onto our computers in order to program the sign in any way.
Oh, okay. It's a little more involved. All right.
So we're moving as fast as we can.
Oh, I know that, Jan. I was just.
Well, I guess here's a follow-up question, though, Rick. Can you unmute Linda and Pat? If
Pat's on.
I'm unmuted, Sean.
Linda muted herself.
Linda and Pat, can you help Jan, since Linda, you do the sign out in front of Town Hall?
Yeah, if she's got the Watchfire, I can help her. Yeah.
All right, because I can tell you guys from experience with Lamar, these digital signs need to burn like that. We usually burn them for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Check the circuits and everything. So that thing burning, all day yesterday, Rick, is probably a good thing.
No, I know that, but I mean, it doesn't have to burn for 5 days.
Right. And if Linda can get with Jan and Pat, the three of them, Linda, maybe you can look at what Jan's got and walk her through there and get it back
possible
running tomorrow and see what we've got.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
I'll touch base with you tomorrow, Linda, after the thumb drive and the program is downloaded to the tablet.
No, that's good. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, guys. Who did I miss? Anyone? Oh, Kevin, anything else to add?
Nothing more.
Okay.
Again, Kevin, thanks for that sign.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
And a happy lady.
Moving on tonight on business, guys. We don't have any first reading ordinances. We do have a second reading ordinance. It's ordinance 20-17. Madam Clerk Treasurer, can you give us a summary, please? Kelly, if you're speaking, you're on mute and we can't hear you.
Could be your Wi-Fi again, Rick.
Rick? Okay.
We can hear you now.
You wanted me to read the second reading of the ordinance?
That's
I'm
correct.
sorry. I was missing it. Hold on a second. Shoot, I think sorry, Rick, give me 1 second.
Local 1, Merrillville Police.
And we just need the introduction, Kelly. We don't need the entire thing read in. Do You want me to proceed, Kelly? She must be having Wi-Fi problems. Okay, council, this is ordinance amending the town
Can you
code.
hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Sorry. Amending Town Code Section 7.5-4 entitled Inspection and Registration Fees. We read it in its entirety at the last meeting. It's also entitled changing 6-28 entitled Penalties and Ordinance Number 1909, being the ordinance establishing, amending the renewal dates for all the town business licenses and hazardous material license registration, and authorizing the clerk treasurer to bill and collect the annual business license fee, hazardous material registration fee, and alarm permit fee at the same time. Repealing all town court sections and ordinances before. So we are increasing some fees and changing some fees.
Thank you. What's the pleasure of the council?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Pettit, seconded by Mr. Minchuk for approval on second reading of ordinance 20-17. Any questions or comments from the council?
Mr. President, to Pat, was this properly advertised, Pat, since there's an increase in the fees?
You're on mute, Pat.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Any other questions from the council? Hearing none, this is a second reading of an ordinance. We will open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment on ordinance 20-17? Hearing and seeing no public comment, we'll take the roll call, Kelly.
Yes. Councilman Span,
Yes.
Councilman Hardaway,
Yeah.
Councilman Minchuk,
Yes.
Councilwoman Musilak,
Mrs. Uzelak, this is ordinance 2017. Yes, how do you vote?
Mrs. Uzelak votes yes.
thank you. Councilman Pettit,
Yes.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilman Bella,
Yes,
7 in favor.
7 in favor, the motion carries. Let the record show too that Pat is interpreting for Mrs. Uzelak due to Zoom difficulties today. Moving on. We have resolutions tonight, 20-35, resolution of the town of Merrillville concerning the holiday schedule for the calendar year 2021. Sorry, guys.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Pettit and Mr. Hardaway, first and second on a motion for approval of resolution 20-35. Questions from the council?
You have any questions on it?
Yeah, no, they look like they might bounce out.
Yeah, that's
We was too far away.
Yeah.
Kelly, you're not muted, so I don't know what you're doing there.
Sorry.
Same holiday schedule as this year and in past years, I believe. The same holidays are listed. Any other questions? So Kelly, you can unmute now and call the roll, please.
Okay. Councilman Span,
Aye.
You vote?
Councilman Hardaway,
Yeah.
Councilman Minchuk,
Mrs. Uzelak, how do you vote on the holiday schedule?
Minchuk?
Councilman Minchuk,
Yes.
okay. Councilwoman Uzelak,
Yes. She votes yes.
okay. Councilman Pettit,
Yes.
Councilman White,
Yes.
and Councilman Bella.
Yes.
7-0.
7-0, that motion carries. Moving on to resolution 20-36. A resolution of the town of Merrillville transferring funds within the engineering fund.
Transferring funds within the engineering
So
fund.
moved, Mr. President.
We have Mr. Pettit on a motion to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Minchuk.
Mr. Minchuk. Removing funds within the budget, decrease of 775754, an increase of the same, the net effect is 0. Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Span,
Yes.
Councilman Hardaway,
Yeah.
Councilman Minchuk,
Yes.
Councilman Uzelak,
She votes yes.
Councilman Pettit,
Yes.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilman Bella.
Yes.
7 in favor.
7 in favor, that motion carries. Moving on to Resolution 20-37. A resolution of the town of Merrillville establishing a restricted fund within the town budget entitled Community Center Gift Fund. This is something that Mr. Pettit referenced to during the workshop tonight. What is your pleasure?
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Mr. Pettit, motion, second by Mr. Minchuk for approval. Any discussion by the council?
Are you good with it?
Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span,
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway,
Yeah.
Mr. Minchuk,
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak,
Yes.
Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Bella,
Yes.
all 7 in favor.
Motion carries. Thank you all. Board of Zoning Appeal actions. We have a petitioner who's been waiting patiently. Justin C. Mattson. Sheila
Yes.
Shannon.
Yes, sir.
Variance of use approval, petitioner Justin C. Madsen, owner Jennifer York, purpose to allow a tap room at 8618, 8622 Louisiana Street in the M1 Limited Industrial Zoning District. Petitioner is requesting a variance of use approval to allow a tap room for existing brewery in an M1 Limited Industrial Zoning District to be located at 8618, 8622 Louisiana Place. Cognito Brewery received a variance of use approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals on September 26, 2018, and the Town Council approved on October 9, 2018. The brewery has changed owner and petitioned Justin C. Mattson is seeking approval to have a tap room with the existing brewery to be known as Viking Artesian Ales. The brewery will have 78 29-inch high cafe chairs with 42-inch high cafe tables, a walk-up bar to place orders for beer and wine. A food menu will be available. House craft beers as well as guest craft beers will be served. There are 2 separate bathrooms for male and female, 2 triple basin sinks for bar and kitchen. Petitioner has submitted floor plans to the Merrillville Conservancy District. Petitioner was approved by the local and state alcohol beverage board. The hours of operation are Monday, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., closed Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 12 noon to midnight, Sunday, 12 noon to 9 p.m. Petitioner is aware of the camera ordinance. The town attorney has a copy of the lease for this petitioner only at this location only and for this use only.
Mr. President, I'm going to make a motion to approve this with a couple questions to Justin. This is in my ward.
Please hold off on your questions for a proper second. Motion by Mr. Pettit for approval.
Second.
Second by, was that Mr. Span?
Hardaway.
Mr. Hardaway, I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Pettit, your questions.
Justin, I have a question on your hours of operation. I'm going to need you to be open on Tuesday evening from 7 to midnight, second and fourth Tuesday of the month, so I can walk over across the street and drown my sorrow.
Hey, you know what? We're working in there 7 days a week, Sean. You come in there anytime and you have a beer.
Right. I know where you guys are at. For the benefit of Rick and Leonard were on the council, Justin, when the Williams brothers came in. I didn't hear any complaints from anyone in that area, in that industrial park. It's over by Channel 56, folks, if you know where that's in Mississippi. He's taking over a building that would be normally vacant. I have no problem whatsoever with what you're doing, Justin. You and I talked on the phone about this earlier, so
Yes, sir.
good luck with your endeavor.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Councilman.
Any other questions or comments about this petitioner? I will say too, I attended the Plan Commission meeting and the commission members did a good job of asking some good questions about, I know we talked about a new rear door.
Yes, and a patio.
Out, a patio on the back, that sort of thing. I think the
Yes, sir.
patio was going to be almost as large as the actual building itself, right?
Yeah, it should be pretty large. Should be somewhere around 1,500 square foot, as long as everything goes along plans, you know.
Very good. Anything else from council members? Hearing nothing else, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Certainly. Mr. Span,
Yes.
and Mr. Hardaway,
Yes.
Mr. Minchuk,
Cheers.
Mrs. Shuzelak,
Yes.
Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Bella,
Yes.
all 7 in favor.
7-0, motion carries. Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you all so much. I look forward to being part of the Merrillville business community.
We'll see you on Tuesdays at
We
7:30.
look forward to joining you.
Sounds good. Thank you all so much.
We're under old business now.
Pat mentioned we're under old business now. We have the business license renewal update. But I think
I'll defer to Kelly.
The business license they went out the very next day after the meeting. I'm sorry, not the very next day, because that was a holiday, that was Veterans Day. But they were all mailed before 3 o'clock on the next day, which was that Thursday. I believe that was November 12th. So all of them are out, and we've got quite a few in already.
Thank you. We already talked about the next item, the demolition of the North Barn. Kevin told us that possibly Friday it's coming down or starting to, so that's good news.
Yes.
Waste Management Service Team call list. I think that was in your packets. And Pat, if you can give us a little update on that, you'll have to unmute.
At the town council workshop, we had a representative from Waste Management there, and he answered the council's questions. You'll recall that a series of questions, concerns compiled by the entire council was presented to them. I thought that he did a good job of answering a lot of good question, discussion back and forth. Of specific concern was who to call at Waste Management. And so what you have in your packet is just that, the Waste Management Service Team call list. And these are our 4 contacts if you and or constituent are experiencing problems. Of course, you certainly would be encouraged to continue to call our office, but this is what the list is and represents.
Thank you, Pat. Anything else on that topic, guys? Okay. Moving on to new business, we have like to do a motion to approve and accept the town insurance package for 2021. I see Matt's on the phone with us.
Hi, Matt.
So Pat.
How's it going?
Great,
So-
Matt, thank you. Go ahead.
Yep, you want me to take it and just kind of give our recommendation?
Yeah,
for
go
it?
ahead, Matt.
All right, so we took everything out to market, and the competitive marketplace really did come back that United Healthcare, who you're currently insured with, is by far the best and most competitive option for the town employees. Their initial renewal came out around a 14%. It got worked down to an 8%. However, United Healthcare is offering a one-time premium credit of 50% of a 1-month premium. So when we really look into it, it's about a $70,000 to $80,000 premium credit that effectively gets your increase down to about 4% overall. So after doing the market research, we'd recommend that the town absorb the increase in the premium because there was room in the budget for it, hold the employee contributions yet again for 2021 plan year, and then any of the other coverages like the dental, the vision, the life, and the disability insurances, those were all rate holds as well. So we'd recommend renewing those so there's no disruption to the employees, especially given the time period we're in with COVID. Less change in their world of insurance is important. And so I guess I'd pause there for a second to see if anybody has any questions on the health insurance component. And then there was one other recommendation that we do have, but I want to kind of tackle this one first. So any questions on the health?
I think Mr. Minchuk's excited about the news.
What was that, Jeff?
Motion. Yeah, right. It's an easy. It's a good one. You got a good offer this year.
Yeah, actually, that's good.
Yeah, and the one thing that we had brought to the committee to consider was also offering a policy, a universal life policy that had long-term care attached to it. The benefit's 100% employee paid, and so there's no cost to the town to do it, other than the slight administrative fee to get the platform up and running. And the benefit would allow all employees, including police and fire, a one-time guarantee issue with no medical questions asked. So for police and fire, it's a big deal because they're traditionally in a line of work that doesn't allow them to purchase life insurance or long-term care benefits. The universal life policy is the employee's personal policy. They can take it with them when they leave employment at the town. The life benefit has the long-term care rider that allows the ability of the employee to access 4% of that benefit for up to 48 months to pay for long-term care needs, which is something that if anyone's looked at it, it's really expensive to do. And the nice part is the weekly premium range from $2 to roughly $12 a week. So it's something that most people can handle on a weekly basis. And then the only thing that would require us to be able to offer to the employees would be that they would need to be seen. All employees would need to be seen and offer the benefit just from a compliance standpoint to make sure that you guys offered everyone the option to do it. I know there was some interest when we talked about it at the committee level. And it's a great policy, especially for those folks who are unable to get the insurance because they're uninsurable or they're in a line of duty that doesn't allow them the access to get it.
I'd like to make a motion to accept as presented with the optional life insurance program.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Minchuk, seconded by Mr. Pettit to proceed with the insurance package through United Healthcare for 2021 and also offer all employees the optional life insurance package. Is that stated correctly, gentlemen?
Correct.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call.
Sir. Mr. Spam?
Yes.
Mr. Archibald?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
And Mr. Bella?
Yes.
All 7 in favor.
7-0, motion carries. Matt, thank you for your report and your work on this. Moving on to new business discussion and approval of a bond issue for street paving for 2021 and 2022. During the workshop, we did have Steve there prior to him not being able to attend. And he estimated around a $3 million project for so many streets. Was it 51 streets, I believe?
Yes.
And we were basing that on current contract prices. And so concerned with about some increases for the next 2 years, we thought we would suggest a bond approval of $3.5 million to do street paving for the next 2 years. So
Motion.
Oh, Mr. White, go ahead.
No, I was saying we need that $3.5 million. I don't know if it was time to make a motion, but I would like to make a motion to accept the $3.5 million bond issue for street paving 2021, 2022.
Second.
Motion from Mr. White, second by Don Span for approval of the $3.5 million bond issue for street paving for 21 and 22 paving years.
Praise the Lord.
Start with me first.
Well, we should mention for residents that, we didn't pave this year due to COVID. So We have some catching up to do, but I think this will bring us back pretty good.
Mr. President, with the $3.5 million bond being floated, there's additional dollars from the wheel tax. Is that correct?
No,
No?
no, the wheel tax is going toward the community, the 50/50 match, Leonard. Steve has got that earmarked for Randolph Street and 57th Avenue next year for the Community Focus Fund.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's already earmarked for paving, but just two different projects.
Right.
Right, okay. Right.
But, Mr. President, I do want to bring to everyone's attention, the list was out. Did everybody see the list, and is everybody comfortable with this list?
No.
Well,
I haven't seen the list, I don't think.
The list that I seen, I don't even think I seen nothing but one street. Now, they like to say that 57th Avenue was kind of in my ward, but it's split up between 3 different wards. On one side, from Broadway to Taft Street is in my ward, and then the other side is basically from 57th Avenue on the north side is Hardaway's ward till probably like Grant Street, and then the rest of it is Span's ward. So I just seen that as being a sliver of getting paving done, and
well,
it's not that many homes on that side of it.
Well, there's several streets in each ward.
Yeah, I like to go over that list again. I know they said something about some rating, some rating type situation that the engineer has, but I like to look at that again and go into a little bit more discussion when we're talking about the actual list.
Well, the thing is, Leonard, we're basing the loan on the 51 streets that Steve has indicated need to be paved.
Yeah,
they're all grade 2 streets.
Mm-hmm.
Every district is represented with streets.
But Rick, I would recommend, guys, let's take a break. I would recommend that Jeff call a Public Works Committee, and every single councilman has to be there. It's not optional. It has to be there. We go through Steve's list. As I said at the workshop last week, Rick, we spent almost $84,000 between Robinson and Butler Fairman rating every single street in the town of Merrillville with a grade. That's a waste of money if we don't implement it. And everyone needs to be on board with this. Why waste bond council's time and our money in preparing this if all 7 of us are not comfortable with this? That's why I brought up the list. We need to go through this list before and everybody needs to be there. With all due respect, guys. Leonard, I understand you're sick. Steve King is out. When everybody is back, we need to sit down, the 7 of us, and go through this list line by line.
I'll make a motion that we table this until after we can have a public works meeting.
Yep, I'll make a motion, Rich, to table.
Rich just made a motion to table. Would you like to second that?
I will.
Motion by Mr. Hardaway, seconded by Mr. Pettit to table this motion until after we can meet and discuss the street paving list. Questions or comments on the motion to table? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Span,
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway,
Yeah.
Mr. Minchuk,
Yes.
Mrs. Uselak,
Yes.
Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
You have that.
and Mr. Bella.
Yes.
7-0.
7-0. We will table this motion until further discussion.
No, look at the calendar, Mr. President, and I'll try to get a Zoom executive meeting for Public Works so I'll go over the streets.
Thank you. Discussion about to review the council chamber's audio visual upgrades. Pat, are you available to talk about this? I see we have Joe with us from HQ Productions.
Good evening, everybody.
Wow, Joe, you sound like a radio announcer there with your little microphone and stuff.
I have to show off so we know what we're talking about, man.
Wow.
Joe, why don't you go ahead and walk the council through your proposal, please?
Gladly. Folks, for those of you who haven't met me, my name is Joe Hasek. I am the president of HQ Production Audio. We've put together a package. I know, Pat, you've had a chance to review it. I don't know who else who's seen it yet. to provide an upgrade to the council chamber's AV system to advance the audio side to the current digital formats and to update the video side from a single handheld camcorder to 4, they're called PTZ cameras, pan tilt zoom cameras. So what we would do is we would replace the 3 wired microphones on the central table with wireless microphones to eliminate trip hazard. We would reuse the existing microphones on the U-shaped table and tie them into a digital system that will grow with you as things advance. This gives you advantage of digital recording that's networkally accessed throughout your system. It's network-based access. We would replace the loudspeakers that are currently in there, take you out of the PV system that's in there to a JBL contractor grade, similar to the type rather than the style that's going in the community center. We would provide a portable rack for video control that will allow, Rick, I forget the gentleman's name who handles.
Craig.
It would allow Craig to control all 4 cameras from a single location, which will allow him to monitor and mix your meetings as far as video feed goes, as well as handling all the recordings. Video and audio would be recorded and would also give you the option to stream to your choice of platform. I believe the current suggestion is Facebook Live, so that digital meetings like this can still be presented to the public. We would also be taking the old projector out and bring you into a high definition projector with an HDMI interface to allow anybody to connect a laptop for presentations, as well as really any other video format. That unit would also be tied into the audio system, so any audio associated with the presentations is also routed through the system into the room. I believe that covers just about everything. Give me just a moment to check my notes. That is the system as a nutshell. It does give you a great deal of growth potential in the future, while still keeping within a decent budget by reusing a large portion of the microphones. There's a total of 19 microphones in the room, and to replace all of those with anything more advanced would be a significant cost increase, but it does give you that option for growth later. As far as those systems go, we can start talking about discussion systems with digital voting capabilities and agendas built in. The discussion system world right now is massive in its capabilities, but those capabilities do come with a price. So to keep things within a reasonable budget, my recommendation is reusing the microphone technology that is there while getting some digital stuff out there to eliminate your trip hazards.
I have a crazy question. Oh, I know when you upgrade to more modern video and or audio, storage takes up a little more space than the older storage clips used to do. I know we have to archive all these videos and audio, whatever we record, for forever pretty much. What would be your recommendation that we do there?
I would defer that to your IT department. We're going to set this up such that the recording is handled locally on the hardware with portable hard drives for the video side and a USB thumb drive that ties into the digital signal processor. Devices that can be accessed on network but are not necessarily recording on network. And then my recommendation would be storage on servers at Town Hall. Unfortunately, I can't speak to what IT has set up or what the capabilities are. But modern codecs and the like, those things that handle that size storage, have emphasized lately compression and size as a criticality without losing quality.
Gotcha.
So I think that we investigated, Pat, that this would be a reimbursable expenditure. And the idea is, even if we're back in person at Town Hall, as you guys know, the seating is limited. And so this would be a way to kind of beef up our presence on video with live feed to Facebook, and then again, posting the video on the website like we do normally and on Facebook. To do that and to have Craig, so Craig wouldn't stand there anymore with the large tripod and the old camera and stuff. So this would be a totally separate system. It'll be modern. And Joe, could you mention what you did at Westville for their city council?
Absolutely. Westville's system is significantly smaller. Town board is only 5 individuals in room about a third the size of your council chamber.
Okay.
For them, we set up a single camera covering the entire room. And Westville is a significantly smaller town, had a much smaller budget to work with for this upgrade. This was pre-COVID. They were pleasantly ahead of the curve in that regard by about 8 months. We set up a small digital video recorder that had both recording and local recording and streaming to live services on board from a company called Matrox. We also installed some overhead condenser microphones and a simple audio mixer similar to what's currently in your space. They now stream all council meetings to their Facebook page. They stream basically any meeting that happens in the space. They either record it for later transcription or stream it to either the town or the police station's Facebook page. We did also install a ultra short throw projector. This is the distance from the projector to the screen, and a pull down screen, something they had not previously had in the space, allowing them to use it for local training for the police department and occasional movie nights for local families.
Okay. Great. Any questions for Joe? Comments?
Rick, this the one that's in our packet, it's $41,000.
I'm not sure which figure we're even looking at. There's different packages there.
This one is HQ Production Audio that was in our packet.
Yeah, that's the right item. That's
Yeah.
the right company.
Well, yeah, the total on the back page is $40,968.43.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Joe, is that the right number? Am I looking at the right quote?
You are looking at the right quote.
You said this is reimbursable, Rick, through the COVID funding?
I believe so. Pat, did we investigate that?
Yes, it is for the reasons you stated.
Okay. So there's a couple things here. We had them come in and kind of go through the building because we knew we had issues. This would eliminate the cabinet that's on the far wall with the amplifiers in it and that multitude of wires that are coming through it. That'll all be gone, right, Joe? That all goes away.
That would go away. There would be a replacement rack. However, with the nature of its design, we can choose its location. It will be significantly cleaner than what's there.
Okay.
And would be sealed up. Nobody would ever have an active need to go into that cabinet to make anything happen, short of a power outage or troubleshooting or a full system shutdown should there be a need.
Joe, how long will the upgrades take?
I would estimate once we have the components in hand, we do a lot of the build within the racks in our warehouse space prior to coming out to town hall. Our actual on-site town hall time, I would expect to take about a week. There's a number of cabling of different types that we need to run. Category 6 network cabling for the cameras, coaxial cable for the cameras, a little bit of analog cable for speakers and microphones where we can't reuse the existing components. So, and that will be the lion's share of the time spent. The time to actually install the major components will be done in the first day.
Okay, now Craig was involved with this walkthrough too and kind of concurred with your proposal. Is that right, Joe?
Yes.
And this would include some training for Craig also so that he knows how to do everything?
Absolutely. We would be there to support Craig, make sure he understands exactly how everything works. And at least for the first session or two, to the best of our ability, we would be present to support Craig during those shakedowns, those first couple times that the system is in use.
Okay.
Well, since we're being reimbursed, Mr. President, I'm going to make a motion to approve the estimate that HQ Production Audio's given us not to exceed $41,000.
Second.
A motion from Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway for major upgrades in the audio and visual capability at Town Hall. Not to exceed 41K. Is that motion okay with you, Joe? Okay, can you stick to your figure that you presented to us?
Absolutely. As we've presented, it is We don't do cost ups unless you come back to me and tell me you want to change something.
Now, our voice is going to sound as good as yours does on this call.
I would fully expect, yes. The microphones that you are currently using in the space are very similar to the microphones we used at the press conference for the groundbreaking
Okay.
just a few weeks ago, and you heard the recording quality there, and that was in the noisy tent.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the council? Pat, anything to add?
Oh, appreciate the vote and look forward to making the improvements.
Very good. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Certainly. Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yeah.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Ms. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
Vote is 7-0, all in favor.
7-0, thank you. Motion carries. Joe, go to work.
Sounds good. Pat, I'll be in touch shortly so we can start coordinating.
Good, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for your time tonight.
Glad to help.
Moving on to the motion for approval to allow the town manager to go through with his vehicle purchase. We talked about that during the workshop. We got reimbursed for his car, and I'd like a motion just to authorize Pat to go out and replace it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway to follow through with the replace Pat's company car. Any discussion, question? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yeah.
Mr. Minchuk?
This is on the path.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. White? Mr. Bella?
Yes.
All 7 in favor, 7-0.
7-0, thank you. Motion carries.
And thank you, Town Council.
Discussion and review of the website and social media proposal. We have put that in the packet. I still would like to get some feedback from department heads, so please make a note of that. And because I want to move forward and get this sent out for bids. So I guess I'm seeking a motion just to move forward. We talked about this at the workshop. Not everyone was at the workshop though. To get quotes on redesigning the town website with a special attention to the Parks Department now, so we can manage all the different things that the Parks Department's going to need, like tournament signups, schedules, fees, etc. So we really need a more robust website.
Motion to proceed.
Mr. Minchuk, motion.
Second.
Who made the second?
I did, Rick.
And a second by Mr. Pettit. Discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yep.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
7-0.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item was NERC funding commitment. This is something Mr. Hardaway spoke about. To the Merrillville Mississippi Street project. So Richard or Pat? Is there some kind of motion we need to do on this particular topic?
Discussion?
I don't think so right now, Mr. Bella, because she hasn't really presented this. It's just right now in the exploratory stage.
Okay.
And once she just wants to keep it in front of everyone. so that it doesn't get lost, and knowing that at some point she will pursue it and we will be able to make a motion on it.
Okay.
I'm confused, Rich. This letter is to Ty Warner, and this is what I brought up with Steve King 2 weeks ago, Mr. Bella. This is the actual bid for Mississippi Street Phase 4B from the Little League Drive down to 101st and wrapping around the 101st Avenue Bridge. And this is the bid that Steve alluded to, 3.9 million, of which we're responsible for 20% out of the Mississippi Street TIF district. So
we may be talking about different projects or something.
Yeah, we have to be, because her conversation with me was about 61st Avenue.
Ah, okay.
I can shed some light. After I talked to Steve, we thought while the council was informed of the outcome of the bid, we thought it would be good to get in front of you so you have it in your packet. Councilman Pettit's correct. This has to do with Mississippi Street. Initially, we thought the project was going to be substantially more, and it's come in less, ultimately saving the town hundreds of thousands of dollars on the project. So we wanted to share this good news with you.
So Pat, we don't need any action now by the council?
No, sir.
Okay. Sorry for the confusion on that, guys. Anything else to add on that? No. Moving on, is there any public comment tonight?
Well, Mr. President.
Mr. Hardaway.
I thought we were going to discuss the town court. Yes or no?
We were going to discuss it during the executive session, but not here at the council meeting.
Oh, okay. I thought we was going to make a decision tonight. Okay.
Well, we're open for motions at any time, Mr. Hardaway, if you have one.
Well, my motion as it was back in 19 is that we proceed with, I think it's ordinance number 19-27, which is the closure of the town court. That's my motion.
State your motion again, Mr. Hardaway.
My motion is back in 2019, we discussed the closure of the town court for economic reasons. And because of where we currently stand, my motion would be that we go ahead and not repeal said ordinance 19-27 and let it stay in effect, and on December the 31st that the town court should be closed with the exception of the judge and his clerk, which both will be paid full salary through his term.
Okay. Is Joe Svetnoff on the line somewhere with us?
Joe, are you still there on the phone? Joe?
Hello?
Yeah, Joe's still here with us.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Joe?
Hello?
Well, that didn't work out very well.
You still there, Joe?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joe.
Okay, great.
So, Sean, can you please repeat that Mr. Hardy would like a motion that we do not repeal the motion, which will kind of put all this to bed? Can you repeat that to Joe and get his feedback?
Can you hear that, Joe?
Yeah, I think I heard Councilman Hardaway's motion, basically that you not go ahead and repeal the ordinance as it stands. I think by you taking no action against this ordinance, that you're showing your affirmative vote for the ordinance, and that the ordinance stands 1927B.
Okay, so then I can just rescind my motion.
Yes, I think you can just rescind your motion, because if no action's taken, the ordinance still stands, and the benchmarks in the ordinance are still going to have to be met, which means the closure of the court by the end of the year.
I rescind my motion.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment?
I would like to address you people.
Judge Jean, go ahead.
Well, as I've indicated to your attorney and through my attorney, that is that the ordinance as it was passed is void. And I understand that your lawyer and my lawyer have a difference of opinion, which of course would be resolved in court, not my court, but in court. However, bringing that up is going to lead to a bunch of things, including a declaratory judgment regarding my term and regarding whether or not the court can be closed without following the statutory authority that allows for a court to be closed. Second, it also will bring up the fact that back in 2012, there was monies that were stolen that were supposed to be replaced, and the estimated amount is about $370,000, give or take. The fourth thing that will come up here is that because the court has a term that will end in 2023, that in the interim, the court needs a budget in order to be able to operate, and that what you would be effectively doing is intervening in that situation. And so declaratory judgment will probably set the term. It would probably also require the town to fund it, okay? It would also probably require that the amount of bonds that were missing that need to be replaced will be a judgment against the town for the 375. So between the 375 and whatever the budget that I submitted for the court for this year, which is the same as what you approved last year, that's going to put us at around what, 700,000. Now, in addition to all that, there also is going to be the issue regarding attorney fees for your lawyer and my lawyer, which I'm sure that'll round it up another 50 grand or whatever it costs. So I suggested by email earlier today that perhaps the ordinance that has to do with the salaries be postponed until we have an opportunity to discuss this in person and see if we can resolve it. And if not, I am sure that your attorney and my attorney are chomping at the bit to take this to court and have it resolved one way or the other. Now, in the meantime, I needed to report to you that the court is functioning well, that even though we were closed for 4.5, 5 months, we generated total revenue of probably almost $250,000, which leads me to think that if we continue to operate on a year basis, we probably would get to $500,000, okay? And that is because of the technological improvement that we made to the collections, okay? As we sit here today and my people are working off-site, they're continuing to generate monies because they are inputting the information and sending out notices to people that they owe money, and they are in fact paying. So there's something that you might want to consider. I think, as I talked to Rick earlier, that the issue seems to be that regardless of how much money we bring in, that only a certain portion stays with the town. And that is a complaint by every town throughout the state and involving all the town courts now, which is that they want to keep more of the money in order to offset the expense of operating the courts. Now, sadly, the Republicans control the legislature, and their view is possibly this year, probably no later than next year, is to try to take over all the town courts and bring it into the system of the of the county. And that would be for the reason that the sitting governor would then get to appoint people as their term expires. Okay, and thereafter they would all be merit. So the merit selection system would take it over the replacements. But that's nothing to consider at this point. I just wanted you to be aware. So for all those reasons, I think that it might benefit us, the council and I, to get together and in a executive session and see if we can resolve this. And if not, we let your lawyer and my lawyer go at it and see where it ends up. Now, my only regret is this, is that, you know, bringing all this to the public, including the loss of the, you know, rehashing the lost bond money or the stolen bond money, it might impact possibly the current charitable contribution that was made recently and any future ones, since we can't seem to resolve things amongst us. So, you know, that's all I thought you might want to consider. I have nothing else to add to that.
Okay, I'd like to say something, Judge.
Yes, sir.
If you request through President Bella a executive meeting, would your attorney be in attendance?
I did.
No, I was saying, would your attorney be in attendance to attend the meeting of an executive committee?
If you bring yours, I'm sure that I'll have mine there too. You know, or we don't have to do that, whichever.
No, I think we need to put it on the table. So
all right.
I'm for it.
Me too.
That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Leonard. Is there any other public comment tonight? Mr. Svetnov, any response to the comments by the judge? Not sure this is the right venue or.
Joe, you still there, Joe?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the right venue under public comment, but, you know, I think the town has made it abundantly clear what their position is. I think the judge has made abundantly clear what his position is.
Right.
If the town chooses to go ahead and get involved in an executive session, that's an option to go ahead and discuss. But, you know, at the same time, I think everybody's kind of clear right now on what their respective positions are. So.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Any other public comment? Hearing none, the announcement is that our next town council meeting is December 8th. Hopefully we'll be back in person, but I will tell you, if it's not safe to do so, we won't be.
Well, Mr. President, I have one comment on the next meetings, and Pat, unmute yourself if you would please and chime in. We received a notice from Bob Swentz that we have to do an annual RDC meeting, and I believe, Pat, that Bob said that has to be an in-person meeting. I don't know why, but that would be December 8th, Mr. President. I'd call that RDC meeting for 5:30, Pat. If you can mark that on the calendar, and you and I can talk to Swentz and let him know, you know, if we're not in person, does it absolutely have to be in person? What are the circumstances to that?
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have Joe get involved with that, because I'm sure the governor and the state health department is going to back a Zoom call if things are bad at that time. So we're not sure how it looks then. We shouldn't allow anyone to dictate to us who, you know, we have to meet.
Well, what he said, Rick, is the meeting has to be in person. It doesn't have to be the 8th. I mean, we could push it out till the 22nd. Pat and I are going to have to look into that with Bob as to why it has to be an in-person meeting.
Yeah, I'd love to see some details on that for sure.
And again, what we can do as well is check the governor's executive order and directives to see if RDC meetings are covered, which I would imagine if they are, if town meeting and municipal meetings are covered. So.
Okay.
And then Leonard, could you please keep us informed how you're feeling moving forward?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. So that meeting's called.
I'm feeling a little. I'm feeling a little clammy right now, but you know what? They always say you drink some chicken noodle soup. I'm trying to figure out what does that got to do with anything. Thank you for your concern, Rick.
I will accept the motion to adjourn, and thank you for struggling through a tough meeting, guys. Appreciate it. Motion by Mr. White. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Span, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too.
And you.
We are officially adjourned. Thank you.